Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined by Tammi Pitzen, Executive Director of the Children's Advocacy Center of Jackson County. Tammi, good to see you again. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. So in case anyone's just watching and isn't familiar with the CAC, what is it exactly you guys do here?
So we provide a holistic approach to the intervention, investigation, treatment, and prosecution of child abuse. We do forensic interviews, we provide medical examinations for kids who've been abused, and therapeutic services.
Okay, and unfortunately you guys are quite busy here in Jackson County, correct?
We are, and those are all Jackson County kids, kids that are local that live here that we are working with.
Mm-hmm. And so tell us how you provide these services. I mean, you guys are a nonprofit, correct?
We are a nonprofit. Our referrals come through law enforcement or DHS, so these are kids that are actually confirmed subjects of an abuse report. And so when they're referred to us, we provide the services. We don't charge any of the families for those services that we provide, but there is actually a price tag attached to that we cover.
Absolutely. And so how do you guys, as a nonprofit, especially these days, post-recession, and of course during the recession as well, how do you guys close that gap and provide those services?
So we apply for and receive grant funds from different foundations, different organizations, and government organizations. We do a lot of fundraising, and we have campaigns, events, etc. throughout the year to pay for that. We do some insurance billing if there's insurance that the client has, but that's a very, very small portion of the cost of the price of the services.
Sure. Okay. And you mentioned campaigns. You guys are now doing a campaign called Caring for Kids. What are you guys doing?
We're doing Caring for Kids. That's a campaign where we are pushing for donations to support our clinical services, primarily the medical services. Our pediatrician is the designated medical provider for Jackson County, which means that she provides child abuse examinations for our county. And if she is not the doctor providing that examination, then she needs to be able to review the documentation or the records to make any kind of recommendations for follow-up and that kind of thing, which keeps her quite busy. She's the only designated medical provider.
She's very busy. Yeah,
she is. We are on track to see more kids than we saw last year. I think by maybe 30 or 40 kids, and that's kids that are actually coming to the center. That's not also including those kids that may have gone to their pediatrician and that our doctor is reviewing the medical records.
Yeah. All right, very good. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more with Tammi in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Tammi Pitzen from the Children's Advocacy Center of Jackson County. So, Tammi, it's a difficult thing for, of course, people to talk about child abuse. As people who live in this community, if we see something that bothers us, do we call the police? Do we call DHS? Where do we draw the line as to what's acceptable and what's not?
I think if your gut tells you that something doesn't look right, you need to report it. The professionals will investigate it and decide whether or not that falls within what's considered abuse or not. These kids are not going to pick up and call for themselves. Yeah. Most often the sound that abused children make is silence, and so it's really important, if there's something that doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, to go ahead and make that call and let the professionals decide if there is some assistance that they can provide that family and that child. Yeah,
okay. All right. Well, and one way people can help us is to raise money, of course, for the organization. You guys are going to a baseball game next week. Tell us about next weekend's plan.
We are. We have the Medford Rogues is going to be playing Bend on July 5th, and the proceeds for ticket sales, if you buy them from a board member or from the Children's Advocacy Center, half of those ticket sales come back to the Advocacy Center. So it's a really easy, fun way to celebrate 4th of July and support the Children's Advocacy Center at the same time.
Oh, it's a wonderful thing. Well, very good. Tammi, good to see you again. Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back.